Silent Separation by Guman, Chapter 7.1 Arm's Length. Yichen put away his mobile phone, opened the door, and walked into the room. When Chief Li from a foreign trade company saw him come in, he got up and proposed a toast. "Yi, where did you go? Come over here so that I can toast you again. Today's negotiation was very brilliant." Yichen gave a polite smile, held up his glass, and drank everything in the glass. After saying nothing but some flattering and complimentary words, and eating for more than an hour, Chief Li said, "Yi, I think we have nearly finished eating, so how about changing to another place?" The group of men immediately and intuitively got the message and gave a knowing laugh. By looking at them, it goes without saying, one also can guess what kind of place. Yichen quickly said, "Chief Li, all of you go and enjoy yourself, but I will return to the hotel." "Yi, you are not giving us face," Chief Li pretended to look upset. Yichen said with a forced smile, "My wife at home really kept a tight rein on me. She just called a moment ago to check up on me. Later, if she calls the hotel and I'm not there, I'm afraid when I get home, there will probably be no peace." The group of men immediately gave an empathetic expression of sharing the same woe. Then Chief Li said, "Since Yi insists, we will not force him, so let Xiaoyan send you back." The driver Xiaoyan stood up and wanted to send Yi Chen, but he politely declined. "No, the hotel is nearby. I can walk back and enjoy the night's view at the same time." It was not easy for Yi Chen to get away, so he did not want to return to the hotel. He turned around and walked in the opposite direction. Guangzhou is a city that is too dazzling, so it is easy to make people feel captivated and lose direction. Yichen strolled slowly in a public square, passing by the elderly, couples, and kids, and enjoying the peacefulness in the midst of an expanding, bustling city. Suddenly, a flash of white light made Yichen turn his head and saw someone taking pictures. Two students who appeared to be girls and probably tourists were taking pictures to keep as souvenir in the public square. He inexplicably remembered the first time he saw her. There was also a flash of light. Then he saw a girl toting a camera and beaming at him. Any person who has his picture taken without his permission will also not be too happy. But he did not say anything at that time except frowned and stared at her. At the beginning, she felt a little guilty by his glaring, but immediately became self-righteous, and as a guilty party, she filled the soup first by saying, "I'm taking a picture of the scenery. Why do you suddenly come out of nowhere?" He was still a little angry, but after hearing what she said, he really did not know whether to be angry or laugh, so he just ignored her and moved forward to leave. He did not expect she would actually catch up to ask, "Hey, why are you leaving?" If at this time he still did not know how to strike back, he was not qualified to be well known as the outstanding student in the Faculty of Law. "Don't you want to take a picture of the scenery? I'm returning it back to you." Her face turned red at once. Quite a while later, she mumbled, "Okay, I admit that I secretly took a photo of you." Willingly to admit her mistake, she could still be saved. Yi Chen quickened his footstep, but she laboriously kept pace with them. After walking for a while, Yichen could not help but turn around. "Why are you following me? You still have not told me your name and faculty," she said innocently. "Why should I tell you? If you do not tell me, how do I give the photos to you?" "There's no need." "Oh," she nodded her head and appeared, "It does not matter. Then I am forced to go and ask around after I develop the photo." He could not believe it. "Stay where you are." "Why? Are you afraid that I cannot find you?" She gave him a don't worry look. Although there are several thousands of people in the university, where there is a will, there is a way. I will go and ask one by one, so in the end, I'll definitely find you. Then he did not need to show his embarrassed face in the university again. Yi Chen frowned with rage between gritted teeth. Yi Chen, Year 2 International Law. After saying that, he turned to leave. After walking very far away, he could still hear her laughter. After 2 days, she finally found him. She took out the photo like presenting a treasure. In the photo, he was contemplating under the setting sun. You see, my first time at handling the lighting effects so well. Can you see the sunlight passing through the leaves? When he raised his head, he finally saw sunlight leaping on her face. So unreasonable, the sunlight suddenly pierced through the heavenly haze and shined into his heart. He did not even have time to react. She was the only ray of sunshine in his gloomy life. But this ray of sunshine did not only shine on him. That 7 years she was away, there was another man. Yichen closed his eyes. Amid it, Yichen, you were mad with jealousy. The new issue of Suisu was released. The young man who smiled proudly and successfully on the cover was a newcomer in the building industry. In the last 2 years, he got a lot of awards and international designs exhibition. His reputation widespread. Unfortunately, he's not handsome enough, Xiaohun commented with great regret. That Luo He is handsome, but it is a pity someone was not able to get it. Amen said loudly. Amen, don't say that. Xiaohun could not stand her vitriol. Yichen already tried her best. Coincidentally, Mushan walked to where they were, heard everything, and could not help but look at Tao Yichen. She was calmly writing on her desk and did not pay attention to others. Suddenly, Mushan felt a twitch of guilt. Ashin, Xiaohun suddenly remembered something and shook her arm. We are friends, so you'll do me a small favor, right? Mushan immediately had a bad premonition and asked cautiously, Xiaohun, you and that surgeon have a problem? Otherwise, why have to go on blind dates again? You're very bad. What are you thinking? Xiaohun shouted with displeasure. Both of her hands were holding her face, giving an expression that she was currently in a sweet stage in her dating relationship. This is it. While talking, out of nowhere, she took out an ultra-big piece of paper and spread it out in front of her. Have you seen clearly yet? Seeing clearly, but also feeling dizzy. On the top center of the paper, there were 2 words, shopping list. Below, she closely lists various kinds of brands for clothes, shoes, cosmetic, and as well as digital camera. Indeed, all kinds of things. Mushan looked until blurry. Xiaohun, the price of things are going to rise soon. This was simply a panic-buying list. Hey, it has been decided that Sister Chen and you are going to Hong Kong. Do not change the subject, just one word, buy or not. News traveled very fast, Mushan sighed. What are the benefits? After work, Xiaohun's boyfriend, Dr. Chen, was treating dinner. While having dinner, Xiaohun constantly reminded her, Ashin, do you know what eating a meal paid by someone else means? Mushan did not know whether to laugh or cry. Don't worry, I'll certainly buy everything for you. I'll buy until my hands cannot carry anything anymore. However, Xiaohun, Mushan leaned next to her ear and whispered, Don't you want to maintain your image of a lady? She had forgot again. Xiaohun reflectively straightened up her back and sat up straight. She also put away her debt collector ugly expression and put up a radiant, perfect smile. Mushan saw that graceful Dr. Chen's eye flashing with a smile incessantly. He evidently had long discovered this and secretly laughed to himself. She could not help but also smiled. Finally, Xiaohun said goodbye to the past. After the meal, she went home alone. After she went up the bus, she found out that she took the wrong one. This bus was bound for her former place of residence, so she quickly got off at the next station. She looked at her watch, which was not even 7 o'clock yet, so she was not in a hurry to go home. She shopped for a long time in the supermarket before arriving home at 9 after. She opened the door and the house was absolutely empty. She walked into the kitchen and took out each of the things in her bag. MSG, salad oil, salt, soy salt. There was practically nothing in the kitchen, so what did Yichen usually eat? There were still some clothes in the bedroom, which has not been unpacked. When she opened the wardrobe, she saw Yichen's monotonous suits and shirt neatly hanging in there. He seems to prefer gray color. Mushan hung her clothes beside his, then looked at them foolishly and suddenly wanting to smile. But she also felt heartache. Yichen, Yichen. She took off her shoes and lay on the bed. These 2 days she has been sleeping on the guest room, but now she suddenly did not want to leave. Inexplicable emotion, something which she could not help but explain herself, overflowed in her heart. Perhaps it was because of tomorrow. Yichen will be coming back tomorrow, on Friday. In a daze, she fell asleep without even taking off the clothes. Unknowingly, how much time has passed, half dreaming, half awake, she seems to hear the sound of someone walking. She turned her body and woke up quite a while later to a pitch-black dark room. When she woke up again, it was already morning, so she threw back the quilt to get up. Quilt? Mosheng stared blankly at it. Probably it was cold at night, so she covered herself. She quickly brushed her teeth and washed her face. Her hair looked a bit long in the mirror and constantly covering the eyes, so she had to find time to have a haircut. She got ready with her stuff to go out. When she opened the door, she was stung. Yi Chen in a suit and tie was standing outside the door. He was holding his keys like he was about to open the door. Mosheng unbelievably stared at the man in front of her. Yi Chen? Why was he here? Didn't he say that he will only be back at night? Yi Chen put away the keys, hastily answered briefly, and then walked past her into the guest room. A moment later, he came out with a stack of documents in his hand. When he saw her standing foolishly at the door, he frowned. Aren't you going to work? Oh, I am. Mosheng did not know why, but she felt a little bit ill at ease. This was the first time she truly realized that their relationship was different, and it would stay that way in the future. Every morning, the first person she would see would be him. I will send you to work. Mosheng followed him into the elevator. No need, I can go by myself. The law firm and the magazine publisher are in a different direction, one north and one south. Yichen pressed the button for the basement parking and said dismissively, I'm going to the court in X district, which is on the way. Oh, that's good. So this was why he was giving her a lift. In the car, Mosheng remembered to ask him, You came back last night? Otherwise, why did he leave his documents in the guest room? Yes, Yichen replied coldly, focusing his attention on the road. Mosheng pursed her lips. What time? Why didn't you call me? 11 something. He replied a little impatiently, paused, and then said, There was no need. Mosheng's eyes looked slightly bleak, so she turned her head to look out the car window. It was the rush hour to go to work. The traffic congestion was bad. Would the relationship always be at a standstill like this? Yichen, if you are still in X district in the afternoon, can we have lunch together? Suddenly, Yichen moved and turned his head. Mosheng was looking out the window, and her voice was very soft. So who was she talking to? He turned back his line of vision and said in an indifferent voice, I don't think I'll be around at noon. As a matter of fact, he was also not there in the morning. Yichen, Lao Yun blinked a few times and widened his eyes to look at the person walking into the law firm. The training girl had rubbed her eyes a few times. Could it be that my eyes have a problem, so I'm seeing an illusion? I think the problem is not just the eyes. Yichen glanced at him, then walked into his office. That big man eagerly followed him from behind into his office and sat down. When I was talking to you on the phone at 7 something at night, you were still in Guangzhou, so how come you're back now? I was at the airport at that time. Yichen sat down, flipped open the documents, and said, Have you finished the things you needed to do? Said Lao Yun. Almost. When Yichen said almost, it meant there was no problem at all. Sometimes Lao Yun could not help but admire his junior, because it was almost very tight to settle the things in Guangzhou within a week, but he could actually complete them one day ahead. Really did not know how he managed to do it. Did you arrive home very late last night? Why were you so anxious, since it's still not too late for you to come back today? Lao Yun muttered, If I do not know you are a bachelor like me, I will suspect that you are rushing back to accommodate your wife. Suddenly he stopped writing in the documents with the pen in his hand and left a large tear on the paper. Yichen raised his head from looking at the document and bluntly ordered his explosion. Lao Yun, if I remember correctly, you have to appear in court this morning. When Mintin saw Yi Chen coming out from the meeting room, she immediately handed him the data. Loi He, I have already printed the information you want. Also, this is C University Centennial Celebration Invitation, which came together in the post with Loi Shin and Loi Yun one. I'll have to take yours over. Thank you. Yichen nodded his head, took it and opened the exclusive invitation printed with the symbol of C University landmark. It was written 15 November as C University Centennial Celebration. Mintin looked at the clock on the wall, which was 5:40. Loi He, if there's nothing else, then I'll get off work. There is nothing more for you to do. You can leave now. Then I'll leave first. Mintin packed her things, then remembered. Loi He, your mobile phone rang many times just now.